This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by Mountain Glass Arts. For the month of April 2016, Mountain Glass is offering 25% off AccuGrind joints. Just put in the code AccuGrind, that's ACCUGRIND, at checkout. And for all you soft glass nerds, they're offering their COE 104 sale on mandrels and bead release. You can get it for 20% off. Just put in the code BEAD, that's BEAD, at checkout. For any further questions or comments, contact mountainglass.com, that's mountainglass.com. This episode is also brought to you by C-Cube Co. C-Cube now creates a wide range of specialty and one-of-a-kind artistic glassware, items such as hand-blown wine crafts, insulated coffee mugs, pint glasses, and custom piggy banks that you can have personalized with imprinting, logos, and color accents that are available. Just go to C-Cube Co, that's SEACUBECO.com for more information. That's ccubeco.com. This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show.
You're listening to the Wise Guy Radio Show.
Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 99. This is Jay Michael, your host. Thank you so much for tuning in today. With 17 years of experience behind the torch, I am as excited as always to bring you conversations with artists, sharing their stories in hopes to inspire and entertain while helping you grow your business. And today is no exception, as today we are bringing you Bob Harley Dawg, and that is his real name, Bob Harley Dawg. He is an amazing glass artist, educator, inspiring guy, knows lots about business, what have you, and you'll hear in this conversation he is a wealth of knowledge, and is very focused on being the best glass artist he can possibly be, as well as helping others out there do the same. He is part of a online Facebook group called Torch Talk, where he has his influence in there, and also runs a online video channel or live chat group, basically. And we get into that conversation. This group that he does is kind of involved with basically is a virtual room of glass artists that get together and work together from their studios, where they can all see each other working and what have you. It's pretty cool stuff. It's a cool concept, and it's a really awesome way for modern technology to be used in this form. Besides using it just for doing conferences or meetings or whatever, or FaceTiming per se, to actually be able to use this to share space with artists in a virtual sense. So it's pretty sweet. We get into a lot of fun conversation, his origins, where he got into. He was in a major motorcycle accident as well, and we get in a little bit of that talk where he actually lost his leg and then had it returned, and it's kind of interesting. So I hope you guys enjoy this conversation, and I can't believe, again, episode 99, holy crap. So other than that, there ain't a whole lot else going on, because we got episode 100 coming up, which you guys will get also as well. If you're listening to this show, the days that this comes out, it is officially 420, and in celebration of 420, episode 100 was going to be the only show coming out today. But with my schedule being as crazy as it's been lately, and timing and getting things done appropriately, figured I might as well just put them out both today. So today you're going to be getting episode 99 and 100. So congratulations, you get a bonus episode today. So other than that, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm exhausted. It's been a long week. It's been a long, draining, emotional week, and it's only Wednesday. And it all started myself back on Saturday when I went to Dave Ramsey's Smart Conference, and still going through and processing that whole situation. I'm going to be going through it and having an episode more or less covering the event. I'm not sure exactly what number it's going to be. It'll probably be 101. So, but either way, I'm not going to promise a number. I'm just going to say I will be having a full in-depth conversation with you guys about what I learned and found and was inspired by, and give you all the names of the speakers that were there and the references and where you can find them all. So other than that, I'm going to bounce and go wrap up a bunch of paperwork And yeah, so there you guys go. So enjoy this episode 99 with Bob Harley Dawg, and we will talk to you all soon on the next episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show, which will be episode 100. Love you guys. Thanks as always for the support. Come reach out to me. Find me at wiseguymedia.com. You can also send me questions, comments, or concerns at info@wiseguyradio.com. Y'all take it easy. Peace. What's going on, Bob? How you doing, brother?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good, man. So I want to start off and thank you again for coming on. I respect what you have been doing for our community with the guys in Torch Talk and doing your own thing out there in this whole community of that's grown leaps and bounds over the past 5 years. It's just been absolutely fucking crazy how fast this community's grown, and to see you being an integral part of it with the Dustin Reveres and the guys in Torch Talk and everything else is helping this educational flow going, man. So props to you, brother. I appreciate all the help out there.
Oh, I'm happy to be a part of it. This is a really great movement, and to be a cog in any part of this wheel is nothing but a humbling pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, you sound really good, dude. I need to get everybody headphones like you got.
Well, they got them on Amazon. They're only like $80.
Yeah, killer. Yeah, I gotta get myself a pair because I talk into my mic all the time, which I don't mind. I got a good mic and stuff, but it's nice to have the headset with the built-in mic and shit.
Oh, I agree with that. It's easier to blow glass too when you got your hands free like that, especially with wireless Bluetooth. You can move about the shop. You can be putting stuff in and out of your kiln. You never lose that quality, coming across no matter where they're at in the studio.
Yeah, dude, there's nothing worse than having to take out your earbuds or being tethered to your fucking bench because you're stuck to it with your cord.
Oh, it's the worst. I do that sometimes with my blow hose. That's the only cord I'm really attached to. Sometimes I'll forget to connect my blow hose, and I've jerked stuff out of the kiln that I put in there.
I've done that same shit, man. I hate it. And my problem with my blow hose is I'll have the motherfucker in my mouth still, and it's not connected to anything. I'm like talking to my shopmate, and I got my blow hose in my mouth, like I got marbles in my mouth, and I'm not blowing any air in it. It's just there because I haven't removed it yet, like a jackass.
I do the same thing. It's just we're a force of habit.
Yeah, big time. Amongst other areas of our life, I'm sure.
Yes.
So before we get too down a wormhole, black hole, whatever we want to call it here, let's focus and talk about your humble beginnings and who introduced you to the torch and where you all got started there.
Oh, well, one of my best friends, actually. I think probably just like most people. My best friend, Jack Kidd, I grew up and went to high school and stuff with. I was a plumber for 20 years. He actually ended up moving up to Nevada with me where I was plumbing, and I ended up getting him talked into becoming a plumber. So he was an apprentice under me for 4 years. I turned him out. He ended up going on to have his own business. I was running my own business. Construction kind of went south. Everything turned upside down. It happened, I think, all over the planet with all these escalated inflations of home costs and stuff that just went south, all the bad loans. And well, when that happened, of course, I had a shop going of 130 employees, which turned into a 15-man shop like almost overnight.
Wow.
So it really threw everything kind of into a state of mind like, oh, wow, what are we going to do? Well, in all of that, I had gotten into a horrific motorcycle accident, had my leg almost completely severed at the knee, getting hit by a drunk driver on my motorcycle at about 75 miles an hour. So I was just relearning how to walk and kind of getting all my life back and straight when all this took place. So here I was just trying to get back to normal as normal was, and then that curveball came into play. So when that curveball came into play, I had been hanging out with a friend of mine, my best friend Jack Kidd, and he had been hobbying glass blowing as he plumbed. It was just a hobby to him. He had a neighbor that did it. So he had bought a torch and was doing some things. I was over there one night, basically just talking with my friend, freaking out about everything in life. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm over there and he goes, hey, I just got another torch in the mail. And he just had like a little national torch, and he had got a Red Max. He had his national still hooked up, and he goes, you want to mess around on that one? And I'm like, why not? Well, the next thing you know, the sun was coming up.
Awesome. Fuck yeah.
So it ended up turning into a hobby for me from that point, with that night of just trying to figure out what we were going to do with our lives. So Jack Kidd would have been the one that introduced me actually into glass blowing, which went by Cracker Jack Glass or Outland Glass.
Okay.
And he's still dabbling in glass and plumbing both. Pretty cool dude, man. Like I said, one of my best friends.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's like it's either you get the bite or you don't get the bite. Some people are like, "Oh man, this fucking sucks," or it's like, "Whoa, I am in love."
And that's what it was too. It was definitely love at first bite.
Yeah, man, it's
100%.
It's a curse, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I went on from that point right there to get myself a Red Max and a kiln, and I built a studio at my home that I owned in the backyard. Basically like a 500 square foot little studio that I just kind of sat in and blew glass every night, and would go and plumb during the day, and our days got shorter. And before too long, I had to kind of make a decision. And the decision was, like, am I going to start to learn another trade, like after I've done this for 20 years, or am I going to try and do something else? Well, I had some friends that kind of put the seed, I guess, planted the seed in my head of, have you ever thought about opening up a smoke shop? And I was like, what do I want to do that for? You know, I'm trying to blow glass and open up no smoke shop. And they go, you could sell all your glass out of your own shop, as well as other people's stuff. And I'm like, wow, you know, that's kind of a good idea.
Yeah.
So I took and wrote up a complete business plan. I have a lot of good business sense that I learned over the years in plumbing. Wrote me up a business plan, went and took it to my accountant, sat down with him. He not only did he like the plan, he wanted to be an investor.
Huh.
That being said, I did not want any kind of investor. I had my own money backing at the time with my 401k that I was just going to crash out and dump into something and take a chance. Everyone takes a chance in their life. This was my chance.
Yeah.
So I went out and I dumped everything into a business, opened up a business down on the main strip of Virginia Street in Reno, Nevada. And I opened up a 2,500 square foot studio that was a full-blown head shop, a full-blown tattoo facility, a full-blown glass blowing facility that housed 5 artists, really good, well-named artists. We had a window into our studio, big 7-foot window, to where all of our customers were able to watch us blowing glass live every day, while they're waiting on anything, looking at stuff to buy, getting tattoos. All of our walls were all covered with art, different paintings from all local artists only, different acrylics and oils and pastels and watercolors and everything you can imagine, wall to wall. It was just, it was an unbelievable facility. It was called Twisted Minds. I was there for 2 years, and I seen that it worked. Like, I never had to come out of pocket after I opened the establishment. It paid for itself. It ran itself.
Sure.
And that's basically where I kind of just decided, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Well,
I'm going to do this whole glass blowing thing.
yeah, it's you know it's fun to hear that, because I've thought about that myself, just knowing a lot of artists, especially in Florida. It's a little different for us here because of the laws and the kind of the horse shit you got to deal with, but it was something I've still to this day think about. You know, I mean, just the fact that you can sit in your quote unquote studio / retail space and do production, and that production could pay everything in the fucking place that you need, in a sense. You know, if you do it right. But the fact that you had tattoos and, I mean, everything, it's awesome, man. And I love that idea, because it's all these little different countercultures into one awesome space. And not to mention it's turned into a gallery, you know, and observation place for people to watch their shit get made, or just glass blowing in general. So it's cool to see that trend kind of still cycling through the industry itself, you know, kind of with the smoke shops getting into having more studio spaces in them and becoming more of an event when you go to these shops, not just going in and trying to buy a $20 pipe. It's going there and having an experience.
100%. All the different artists, I mean, you just feed off of each other. Everyone gets like the writer's block, an artist's block of sort.
Mm-hmm.
We all hit walls, you know, so to come out of the studio, you know, and just be frustrated because you just threw 2 pieces into the glass hole, you know, just all breaking stuff, you know. You're like, shit, man, you know, and you just come out and kind of looking at different stuff in the glass cabinet, walking over, kind of watching a couple different tattoo artists getting down on a watercolor drawing, or, you know, just drawing up some art for something coming up. I mean, be amazed how many times just all of a sudden you're just re-inspired, just almost immediately, just coming out of your box.
Yeah, dude, that's,
you know?
yeah, that's the nice part about being in that kind of space. Like for myself, I worked in my garage and my cave for probably the first 10 years ish, I would say, of my glass life, and then got into a studio space with some friends, and it was amazing how much more it just like opened up everything. And then we all got stagnant together, and then like new blood came in, and it like we reawoken all of us, you know, the same kind of thing. Like you're saying, it's amazing how fast it happens. It's like almost like that energy comes in and you're all like, holy shit, we need this, you know, kind of deal. It's like having an old dog and a new dog comes along and gives that old dog a bunch of new energy.
All of a sudden he's ready to play again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it's been in my studio here now. I mean, we have in here, there's 4 of us that blow glass every day. And we're blowing glass, you know, 12, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. But I've been doing that by myself for quite some time. So to have these other guys with all their own minds and their own ideas, it's just a whole, like you said, a whole new life in the shop. It's just like revitalized me to get my ass back to fucking work. It's like, hey, you stupid, lazy, fucking same old shit. What are you doing? I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Let's make something else.
Yeah, no more Rap and Rick spoons.
Fuck. I get so used to teaching. You know, I always talk about with other guys, you know, it's like, hey man, this is a fucked up world. We all could die tomorrow, you know, who knows? You know, we don't even know what's all here for us. So it's about what we're making right now. Let's think about today. It's not plan out weeks and weeks in front of us. You know, let's make shit right now. Don't cloud your mind so much, you know, just kind of focus on what you're doing right now. And it's like, if all this were gone, you know, or when we're all gone, you know, it's like, what are you going to leave when you're gone? Because this glass is going to be here forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it was here long before we were here, and it's going to be here long after we're ash.
Yeah, I'm
so
kind of
like,
my ex-wife.
What do you leave behind?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, it's that legacy. You know, it's a legacy as a human, and it's a legacy as an artist. Mm-hmm. You know, it's important, and I laugh about it too, because like my ex-wife's where my studio what used to be in her backyard there, and there's probably 100 fucking pipes buried in her garden in the backyard. So whoever ever buys that house down the road is gonna find a bunch of stuff, bunch of treasures. Probably half of them still used. They could probably scrape them still, you know, or some shit.
That sounds like my fish tank.
Yeah, dude. I've got friends that have fish tanks like that. Yep. All my old broken shit.
Ryan Fitt's fish tank is full of eyeballs.
Hell yeah.
He told me it drives this fish crazy. He's sure of it.
Yeah, it'd drive me fucking crazy just looking at it. But all these things looking at you. That's awesome. So at what point in time did you, so you said you did the shop for 2 years. Was it, is it still there? Does it exist, or did you guys end up shutting the doors?
Yeah, I ended up shutting the doors forever. I thought about selling it and letting it continue, but I'm a pretty involved individual. So I am really about, as most people already know that know me in the glass industry anyway, I'm about putting the face to the place. Mm-hmm. I lead by example. I'm not the guy that just screams, you know, out of his little cracked window of a Mercedes at the guys working in the snowstorm to hurry up. You know, I'm not that guy. I'm like, come on, man, let's do this. Grabbing the other side of the weight. I'm like, let's make this happen, boys. You know, I'm a team player, and I'm right there with everybody. So it's, I guess, a little bit more that way with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know myself. I'd be the same way, man. I couldn't have an entity that had a name that I gave to it exist if I wasn't somehow a part of it. Yeah,
I agree with that.
It wouldn't be able to happen because it's, you know, there's branding, there's, again, your legacy you're leaving, you know, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you could sell the space and be like, sorry, you can't use this name anymore, but you can use the space if you want, kind of thing. But it's almost better just like you did, like you cut your ties and walked away.
And I did. We had to roll up everything. The artists all understood. They all had different homes or caves that they went back to, as we all call it sometimes, as we're reclusive. But no, I just took everything and I moved on. it's now like a yoga facility or something of that nature. It's definitely nothing of the same.
Yeah,
It
totally
was
opposite.
it was definitely a really good learning experience. I didn't fail, which was really good. I gave it my all. I put everything I had into it, and no matter what would have happened, it wouldn't have mattered. I think it was a lot of gain. It really sucks that it had to close down, but there was some family things. I really kind of needed to move away and get back home. I had my mother. She went and had a stroke. I had to spend some time with her. My uncle was going through some medical procedures as well. It was time basically for me to go back home. I'd spent 20 years in Nevada, born and raised in Modesto, California, and now I'm back here, so where I sowed my roots, and I'm back in Modesto, California, working full time on a farm, and it is so much more peaceful and unbelievably overdue that I wish I would have done a long time ago. But what I've gained down this road, as far as knowledge and patience, is undeniable. So I'm where I'm at for a reason. Everything is laid down the way it has, I think, to get me to where I am today. And this is really peaceful out here. I'm raising a family now. I got my beautiful son. We had a beautiful daughter, Athena Manevra, and she passed away. She's watching over her brother right now every day. Really beautiful girl. Our son now, he just turned 1. That's Bobby, little Bobby Harley Dawg the second, and he'll be the one carrying on Daddy's legacy whenever I die at 180 or whatever I live to.
Don't we all hope?
No, I don't hope. I think it's going to be punishment.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'll let you go. You're not done, buddy.
Just let me
There's
die.
still more knowledge. There's still more knowledge you got to give. That's what I'm going to leave behind. We talked about what we're going to leave behind when we go. For me, it's knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what I choose to leave behind. I like to share knowledge with people. That's my nemesis. I really like to see people succeed.
Yeah, man. That's why I wanted to bring you on, because I'm in the same boat. It's been an interesting transition for myself too. It's like 17 years on the torch and things that I've done, and I've always found that little underlying for myself has always been education. And my grandparents have been professional teachers, so it's just in my blood. Like my mom's side, they were the entrepreneurs, and my dad's side, they were the teachers and educators. So it all kind of came together, and now I'm an artist / educator / entrepreneur. It's pretty fucking neat how it all comes together.
It is. It's an amazing circle.
Yeah, it's yeah, and it's it sucks sometimes. We got to fall and scrape our knees and go through those experiences in life. But like you said, it's like all these tools that we learn. As long as you can learn from these fucking tools, then you're gonna win in the end. But if you're like an asshole and you're like, oh, I don't need that shit. I hear it all the fucking time, dude. People are like, oh, I don't need to go there to learn that. I'm like, dude, if you had the opportunity to do it, go do it. Even if it's something that you're hearing for the 5th time, it's just reinforcing what you already know. And maybe somewhere in that little bit of shit, you're going to find something that you didn't know about. And it drives me crazy. It's just like this whole, I don't know what term I want to use. There's a couple of them.
Talkers and doers.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what you got.
Yeah, dude, and I agree, man. Being a leader, you got to lead by example. And for myself with this show, I wanted to do this not only because I needed to get the shit out of my soul, but also because I needed to have integrity and to have accountability for myself to practice what I preach. And this whole year of this experience of doing this podcast has really helped me get my business in line, because I'm telling people what I think you should be doing or how to do it or ways of going about things. And if I'm not doing it myself, I mean, fuck, right before I called you, dude, I was at my accountant's to get my taxes and shit taken care of. And she's been so busy herself since March, or actually since February, she was saying in February, that she's been wanting to sit down and do an interview to talk about all this tax stuff. So I told her, I was like, wait a couple weeks after taxes are over, then you can come on and we'll talk about the whole situation. Because like we even saying to me, like, I haven't started doing my Schedule C quarterly tax bullshit yet, and I need to, because instead of paying that chunk of change at the end of the year, you just pay it quarterly and just be done with it, and save yourself a headache at the end of the year. But
much easier.
Oh yeah, man. But it's amazing all the little corners and ways of going about finding deductions. So we sat down for about an hour and a half today, and I took a whole bunch of notes, and now I got to itemize a couple things and go back later and drop my stuff off. But all the stuff that I learned today, I'm gonna be talking about next week because it's like deadline's Monday. And you know what's weird, man, is we were talking about, usually April 15th is deadline for taxes, and they're, I forget what the date. There's a holiday tomorrow, or tomorrow, which is why tax aren't due tomorrow, because the IRS is actually closed tomorrow, just by chance. And next year, it's going to be also the same date. Will be April 19th, because the 15th falls on Patriots Day. And even though Patriots Day is a celebration in Massachusetts, our government still celebrates it as an excuse to not fucking work. Mm-hmm. So the next 3 years, we're going to be paying our taxes, or get to pay all of our or well, not really necessarily pay them, but our taxes are due more or less a couple of days later. So y'all get a couple extra days to get your shit together. But instead of that, just do a quarterly taxes, and you'll be fucking set.
Oh, it's so much easier. Definitely. I mean, if you're running a business, it's the way to do it. I did my own taxes. I did my own bookkeeping for quite some time when I was running that establishment for the 2 years. I handled everything every day or every night at the end of shift, and every week to every month, and every month get hounded to the accountant to do my every 3 months like you're talking about. And that's when I'd have to pay my quarterlies and stuff, and it was just so much easier than that big lump chunk at the end. That's what I think really sets people back, is it's hard to make those big chunks, but if they handle that a little bit easier, then you really get by. It's like having 30 things on your whiteboard that you got to do. If you stare at those 30 things, you are going to go in your green room and just sit there and ponder, you know what I mean? Like, and you're not going to get shit done. But if you go over there and just grab something off the board and bang it out real quick, and grab something else off the board, before you know it, there's nothing on the board no more. Yeah,
man, it's amazing. I'm in that right this week alone. Like, I've been working Disney full time for the past month and a half, and it's like it's put me behind on stuff I've had pending. So this week I'm off just by chance. It worked out timing wise. So like my daytimes when I have my kids, my wife and I split our time. So like my daytimes these past couple of days have been being at home, getting my home shit done, and then my kids come home and my wife comes home. We do family time. They go to bed, then I go to the shop, and I've been at the studio from like 10 p.m. till about 2 a.m. Get home, do a quick little meditation so I can go to sleep, and then I'm up at 5:30. But I got to do it. But I've been going in there and just little by little, just knocking this shit out, one thing at a time. If I didn't do that, if I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go into today and do it all just today, it wouldn't get done.
Nope.
I'd be frustrated because I'm like, oh, shit, I should have spent these last 2 days, even if it was just 2-3 hours doing something. You got to fucking do it. Even if it's just prep work. Like I tell people all the time, like a lot of the new guys that are getting these really awesome big orders for their lower end production stuff. They're China killers in a sense. If you just spend one whole day doing prep, whether you're pulling points or doing stringers or whatever you're doing, just spend a fucking day, even if it's like an 8-hour day, just doing prep. Put a couple movies on, put some music on, whatever. You got prep for like the next month. I mean, literally, you can do that shit. It's not a problem. And then it saves so much fucking time and headache.
I agree. I agree. Prep is exactly what it is. It's preparation. Yeah. You're being prepared. I talk about that with the apprentice that we have here at the studio, and I'll show them because they'll spend, and I say they, just different people that come through the shop, but we got people that will spend all day on one piece, and they'll see somebody with prep bang out 2 or 3 of them. It's like, how did you bang those out so fast? It's like, well, I had all my prep done. I got all my opals already encased. I already got my horns prepped. I already got all my honeycombs and my little wigwag reversals ready. I'm just slapping shit together, dog. Yep. You know what I mean? It's like easy bake oven time.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also if you have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then you ain't going to get shit done.
Yeah, and that's where some people run into different things too. The cause and effect of, oh, I'm going to draw my stuff on the board and detail it out, or oh, I'm just going to kind of fly by the seat of my pants. Yeah. You need both.
I agree, absolutely.
You definitely need both. I mean, and one, you have the element of discovery. You know what I'm saying? That's the road to discovery when you have tons of time and you're just going with the flow, to where if you're short on time, you need to keep on track. You got better have a drawing and a plan. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and it's important, man, if you can set deadlines for yourself. Even if it's, 6 o'clock, I am turning my torch off. I don't give a fuck what I'm doing. It'll make you get your shit done in time. If not, have a focus and get what you need to get done in that time. Yeah, it's definitely important because it's so easy with what we do, man, just to fly, like you're saying, fly by the seat of our pants and just, oh, I'm going to have a lot of fun in my shop. I can't tell you how many years I have spent 15 hours in a studio and maybe gotten about 6 hours of work done.
Yeah, but when your deadline's due, man, isn't it amazing how much work you can get done in the last 2 days
I
you
know.
got before your shit's due? You have 3 weeks to do something, you know what I mean? And you
Yep.
do more work in the last 2 fucking days than you did that whole time.
Yeah, and
It
it's
is.
and it's so fucking stupid that we do that. I mean, I know every artist I know does that shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but
Maybe not all the time, but they do it.
yeah,
That's
oh,
why
yeah.
right now they're going, oh, fucking Bob, call us all out. That's
Yeah.
good. I see how you are. Well, come back on the radio and call me back out.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
got
it's
your
like,
back.
oh fuck, ages tomorrow? What? I didn't ship my stuff yet. You know, it's like,
We've all done it, man. And
Yeah.
you know what? It's all it does is it shows you something. It shows you truly got that heart and the drive for what it's for. It's not a job. It's a lifestyle, man.
Yep.
It's totally a lifestyle. And you know what? That lifestyle you feed your family with. So when you got deadlines and you're still making them, no matter what part in time you're making them, but you're making them, those people are coming back. Those are return customers. That's how you survive. You know, the word of mouth is one of the strongest advertisements on the planet, and you destroy that, and you're going to destroy yourself. You will self-implode. So, man, you got to be on top of your game.
yeah, dude, and this industry is one of the industries out there that overnight you can be on a blacklist and you're fucked.
Yeah, we're a small community.
Yeah.
People don't get that until, well, they get that, and sometimes it's too late.
Yeah, way too late.
It's like, hey, you understand that, like, one state like has more people than there is glassblowers. Like they communicate quite well, you know, especially with today's media. It's all free.
Yeah, I mean, shit, dude. I can't tell you how many people I see like calling other artists out, you know, just from them being a fucking douche.
Why
Yeah.
don't they pick up the phone? You know, whatever happened to that? People used to get their ass kicked for being like that. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
and today, you know, you used to get socked and now you get blocked. I'm like, what's going on with today, man? Because you know, if you spank them, they'll stop doing it. But if you scream at them from a keyboard, they ain't stopping.
No, man, it's eggs them on. That's all it does. Fucking trolls.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's-
Today's world is different from when I was a kid. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it sure is, dude, for sure. You know, it's interesting on that same kind of note. Recently, past couple months, I've been part of a beta testing for a new social platform called Hello, and it's an audio-based platform. It's basically like the audio for Twitter kind of thing. You get like a minute to record something and whatever, but you have an opportunity also to share a link, which you can send someone to like an Instagram page or a Facebook page or a website page or whatever. And it's awesome because to me, what differentiates it between anything else is the fact that you can actually hear someone's voice and have that like connection through audio and through a voice and actually hear someone's emotions. You don't have to be like, hey man, I'll be right fucking there, and you can put a smiley face next to it, or you can actually say it to somebody and they can actually hear that you're not just being a dick, but you're actually sincere, like, hey man, I'll be right there, I promise. You know, however you talk about it, but you know, not having to use emoticons and all this other shit just to clarify that you're not really being an asshole, that you're being sarcastic, maybe even, you know. And
Yeah, condescending or whatever.
yeah,
Facetious.
totally. Yeah, man. But like,
You don't get those.
no, not at all. But through the beta testing, we were all having a lot of fun with it because we're trying to find like, it started off with 20 of us in the group, between the programmers and then us, the CEO and whatever else, and testers, and then it went to 100, then 500, and then 1,000 in phase 2, and now it's open to the world can get downloaded on their if they have an iPhone. It'll be ready for Droid here, like I think in the next 2 months. But one of the things I love about it is the fact that you can go on there and express yourself and talk about what you made and really put your heart and soul into describing what went into what you made. And then right below you have a link to the picture, and you put the link in there and it automatically will show the picture of whatever it was that you did. And it's a cool way to go about talking about our work, you know, and having a platform, an audio platform now. It's an audio and visual in a sense, I guess, too. You know, Snapchat's similar to it, but Snapchat doesn't last for a 24-hour thing. You know, this is there forever. And I don't know, man. It's just we're having a lot of fun just exploring this whole process. Like I actually just started my first giveaway on there to try to gain some more followers, just to feel it out, see how it's going to work. But we're kind of laughing about it because we haven't had anybody trolling anybody yet. Like there's a couple guys on there that are just, you can tell they're douchebags, but they're just douchebags. They just come out as douchebags.
Yeah, you're gonna have those. This is the way it is.
Yeah, it just is what it is. But they're not out there trolling around. They're just like saying dumb shit because that's what they are, you know. But they're not They can't. But you can reply to your people's posts with an audio post as well. So you know. But nobody's had any issues with any trolls on there yet. And I'm kind of curious when it's going to happen, So it's kind of fun.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. But we're definitely finding ways.
I always tell people, like in Torch Talk, dealing with Will Young and Mike Mason, because I'm also an admin in that group, and I don't get into heavy conversation with people on there. Like if people want to learn something from me, I tell them to get onto the live chat, man, and I'll talk to you face to face. Like I'll show you on my torch or whatever. Like we'll make that happen, but you get kind of lost in translation. And I always, as far as typing on those comments, and I tell everybody there all the time, I'm like, look, everybody here has an expiration date. They're all cool right now, but somebody, somewhere, sometime here on one of these posts is going to piss somebody the fuck off, and they're going to snap. And that's going to be the day they expire and you block them out of the group and all that shit. I go, so it's just a matter of time. That's all it is.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I was talking with, I had Rashawn Jones on the other day. He's gonna be our episode 100.
Awesome.
And we're laughing about it because like all of us old dogs that are in there in the group, we're laughing at all these newbies, but we're noticing this kind of a trend of some of the guys that were a part of the original group, like the newbies that were just coming in, that have now been, say, a year on the torch. And you know how that first year was. You're the baddest motherfucker on the earth. And, you can make the best shit ever made. Nobody's done anything like this. New text. Nobody's ever done this shit before, kind of thing. And we're seeing that. We're seeing these little bit of these trends coming in where these guys are a year into it, and they're making snide comments to these other new guys that are brand new fledglings coming in. And it's interesting dynamic to see these guys were initially treated like and nurtured and respected, and then a year later they get all cocky and arrogant, and then they turn into dickheads, and then they treat the new guys like they're not like like, oh fuck you, that shit sucks, so don't blah blah blah, or whatever, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird seeing it, and the fact that there's like over 2,000 plus people now, group now, it's not easy to moderate and keep an eye on everybody. That's what's going on.
Yes, no, I agree. I think, and I might be mistaken, but I want to say that Torch Talk's like, they hit close to 5,000.
Is it now? Wow.
I want to say that's where it's at. I'm not 100%, but it's an insane amount of people. That's for sure. And with that, just the same as that other the beta testing and stuff that you guys are doing right now. Like you can't control everybody. I mean, there's only so much monitoring you do when you allow somebody to the group. So it's basically like you just give everyone rope. And that's it. And I mean, they're going to be helpful or they're not. For me, it's really easy for me. When I see a post that's going like 80 or 100 comments of fuck you, fuck him, fuck them, you're all right, you're cool, fuck you, I just delete the whole post. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yep. I don't get in there and comment and like, hey, if you guys don't do this or you don't follow the rules, I swear. No, fuck you. Fuck the post. Get out of here. If you want to type all that bullshit you just typed again, go ahead. I'll delete it again right when you post it up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah, totally.
I have the power to swing this hammer, and I'm going to use it basically just to keep the bullshit out of the positive room. The room is for fucking guiding these new guys and giving them a leg up on stuff we never had. I mean, I was not so fortunate. I was more self-taught. I didn't have anyone teaching me how to blow glass. I had to learn from any kind of YouTube video that I could possibly steal some knowledge of, and I was so happy. But before me, the people before me, you're talking about, you've been in this industry for a minute. It's always been about hiding your shit, not sharing all that knowledge.
Yeah.
With your friends and stuff, I don't know. That probably was a different scenario. But as far as like today, where people are going and collabing everywhere with everyone, they're doing all these live demos for free. People are recording stuff and reposting stuff. Like, it is so shared in the social media right now. Like, it's there. People are lucky to have what they have. I mean, these guys are becoming really good. I mean, the true artists, they're becoming glassblowers virtually overnight. In a year, they're working, making money to support them and their families, no problem. Like a year in glassblower, that was really unheard of back in the day.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? I love it.
And with diversity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I hope that those guys that are doing that and gals are definitely appreciative of those of us, in a sense, quote unquote, trailblazing, through the industry and really learning and figuring shit out. Because myself personally, like I had mentioned in a couple episodes ago, like when I was first figuring inside outs out, I couldn't stop burning my fucking hand in my blowpipe. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I seen it done before, but what the fuck am I doing wrong? I couldn't figure it out. And I had this dude Noah came by one day, just in town on tour or whatever he was doing. And they came by the shop and by my house and watched me working. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Because at the time I was trying to do like cut and flips and like all these different ways of doing inside outs, and compared to how it's done nowadays. And he's like, dude, watch this. And he just like gets the wet newspaper or toilet paper, whatever, and just shoves it in the opening of my blowpipe and end of the fucking issue I had. And that's all it took, you know. But it made me realize how important it is to share knowledge. And at that point in time, dude, anything I learned new and came across somebody that was blowing glass, I was all about saying, hey, let me show you how to do this or do, whatever.
Yep.
Because it's so important. That was before the fucking internet was really even going, too much. And now with YouTube and Dustin Revere and all the other guys out there that are helping out, it's massive. There's such a big catalog on the internet now of knowledge. It's like full open source.
No, I agree 100%. 100%. And you got to be able to share that knowledge like that. I mean, the better, more knowledge that your team is around you and the people are around you, the more everyone's going to be pushing to the top. And you know what? You're pushing. You're part of that whole movement right there. So you know what, man? You guys are pushing each other. And if people thought more along that line, like, hey, man, the better my shopmate is, the better I'm going to be, because we're both going to be fighting to get to the top, and we're going to have that really positive competition between us. Nothing like personal. It's always like a positive pushing competition. You're going to push each other fucking faster, harder, and you're going to get better that much quicker. Like, it is so smarter to think that way rather than, I don't want to tell this guy nothing. I hope he keeps failing. I hope you break that. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly. Completely asinine.
It's completely, it's counterproductive. It is counterproductive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
We don't.
So when you first got your kind of back up a little bit, when you first were starting the process of learning the glass, what were some of the first things you were making?
Well, the very first thing that I ever made on the torch, I'm glad we ain't got a camera, so I don't have to show it to you. But yeah, the very first thing I ever touched on a torch was a spoon pipe. My buddy had a bunch of Latticino cane that he'd been doing that was all nice and stretched out like stringers all on his little vase or whatever he had on the table. And I grabbed a couple of those, and I grabbed me a piece of 25 millimeter, and I punted me up a blow tube to it, and I drew all these squiggly lines all over the damn place, and I turned it into like a 6-inch long spoon and didn't work in really none of it, and chewed it down to about 1.5 inches long when I finally got the mouthpiece opened up.
I remember those days, dude. Fuck yeah.
And it was horrible looking. I still own it today. It's in my glass case. I show it to everybody here that thinks their first spoon looks like shit. I'm like, yeah, let me show you what shit looks like. And then right now, you're going to make a better spoon because you're going to be amazed what you just did rather than beating yourself up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, my sister has one of my first pieces I ever did. She actually held on to it for years and years and years, and I'm pretty sure she still has it. But it's so funny, like you're saying, is going back and seeing the days of just having complete freedom and not any kind of anything inhibiting you from trying to just be perfect. Just go have fun, melt some shit, and what the hell you come up with, you come up with.
And that was it too. I mean, I got into doing like mushroom implosion marbles. I really love marbles. Honeycombs is one of my very favorite things that I've always just loved staring into and gazing into honeycombs. I don't know why. I've just always been a freak for that. And I started honeycombing solids. I wasn't really doing too much hollow work at first, and got into hollow and started practicing honeycombs. And it's like honeycombs kind of become my go-to over the years. I just really love the organics of a honeycomb.
Yeah, me too. Are you talking like the silver fume type style ones, or like honeycomb patterns?
Different honeycomb patterns. Yeah, different patterns. I mean, you can really create some really interesting flower looking effects out of honeycombs, as far as just having them in sections and pieces and marbles and disc pendants. I mean, any way just about that you use them, I just really love it. Different colors like the serendipities, the mega mai tais, the DAP, double amber purple. Those colors, just persimmon strike, the tequila sunrise, just a fire colors you get out of those honeycombs are just phenomenal to me.
Yeah, I've actually got a whole shit ton of I got a sample pack from Tag a couple of weeks back, and I've just been running through each one of the sticks at a time, just playing with them and doing honeycombs. just because I want to see in person, not having the poster, but to really see for myself and experience what each color does.
Yes.
And dude, I love the Mai Tais and the double Mai Tai, and I mean, all that shit is so pretty. Like, I love the whole amber purple family, but then to see how that family has evolved with other glass companies, it's just, I love all that shit. I mean, I can go on for days about all that striking color stuff, and it's just
Oh, you
so
and me
much
both.
fun, dude. I love it.
I am a big fan. Yeah, so I went from there into basically doing all the marbles and stuff into spoons. Started making spoons, slide bowls. Back then it was pretty strong, coming in hard. Everything was bigger tubes and stuff then. So when I was starting and I actually went into making tubes, which I was doing in my first year, what I referred to as a mini tube was, 10 to 14, inches tall.
Right.
They were huge. And everyone just like, yeah, that's not a mini tube. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I got big hands. But my proportions were definitely off. Like, I wanted to make everything big, and everything I did big. My tools that I was making were big. Like, I got into making glass blowing tools. Okay, so it started off kind of when I started blowing glass, there was tools that I thought I needed. And now, mind you, I was a plumber for 20 years, and I was a man of tools. So there was tools that I thought I needed glass blowing that weren't available. They weren't there for me. So I had a friend that had, been a machinist for 35 years. So I designed, and with him and his artiste, we developed tool heads, in which then I created handles and assembled and marketed and sold tools. It went from, 5 tools to 25 tools over the course of about 6 months of research and development. I was sending out said tools to different artists, big name artists, as gifts for them to try out and give me some feedback on. I was getting all kinds of required feedback, making said adjustments, and went into full-blown mode of selling DHG brass glass blowing tools made in the U.S. for glass blowers by a glass blower.
Hell yeah.
And everyone knew me in the industry as Dawg House Glass, that guy that makes the tools.
Interesting.
Not the glass blower.
Yeah.
And then as I evolved into a better glass blower, I became more of Dawg House Glass, the glass blower, and I stepped away from the tools in order to better my knowledge and my further, advancement as a glass blower. As after all, that's what I was shooting for. But I used the tools to kind of help get my foot in the door, so to speak.
Yeah.
It was an interesting road. So I did that for like 4 years.
Nice.
Yeah, and I started learning how to make smaller stuff eventually.
Yeah, man. No, but I agree. Mine was the same way, dude. Like, I would sit and draw sketches and have everything planned out, and the next thing I know, I'm just barely fitting the motherfucker in my kiln. Like angled. Like, I had like, I don't even know what the size of the kiln was. It was a long time ago. It was probably like a 10x8 or something back in the day. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like putting it in at the angles of the opening in the kiln, just barely scraping the sides, getting it in there, and it took me a while to really realize, like, man, I got to get this proportion shit down, especially as this industry's evolved into getting into the scientific joints and stuff, and now we're at like 10 mils, and you can't have some big fucking pipe that has got a little tiny 10 mil joint on that thing. It just, it doesn't work. It doesn't function properly. So no. I agree, man, because like for instance, like when I was first starting to get into making some dragons and stuff, I had to like consider the wings and the hands and the arms and the head and the tail and like everything, and how's this all going to fit in my kiln. And like, again, they were just so big. They were fun to make, but I'm now getting paid just as much for the smaller version of it, and it takes me just as much time, but it's so much better, so much more easier on my body, and they also fit my kiln way easier.
Yeah, you stack up more for sure.
Yeah, it's like, fuck. But it took me a while. Because I'm the same way, man. I'm 6 foot tall. I got big hands. I'm just like, my eyeballs are bigger than my stomach half the time,
Yep.
So,
Another feeling.
Yeah, I definitely understand that whole shit. But, when it comes down to it, for those out there that aren't familiar, there's from art classes, there's a anatomy book I think it's called Anatomy for the Artist. And it's a full breakdown of like the full anatomical everything of the human body, but it's all hand-drawn sketches. But it starts off by teaching you proportion and how the human body is like 8 heads tall and blah, blah, blah. And once you can get all that scale and figure all that shit out, man, it's like those kind of fine-tuned little tools that you can get under your belt are so important for a foundation before you even get into blowing glass. And if you can learn it while you're doing the glass, it's fine. But to get that knowledge under your belt first, it's huge. And being at Disney, our characters are 3 heads tall. Like Mickey's his head, and then his body's 2 heads. And I had to learn that when I started making my own characters to make sure that they were to Disney specs and to all, the proportions and everything. And, by doing that repetitively has, again, transferred into my own personal work, which has made everything that much more better. And, to be like, it's more better, that's kind of redundant, but you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So, but, it's definitely important to have, especially when you get into, say, like I was doing bubblers, push bubs for a while, where like the stem or the mouthpiece area was like 10 inches fucking long, and I got this little 2-inch can. That shit is stupid. It's like, might as well make it into a peace pipe and just call it a day, But it took a while of experimentation to figure that shit out, because I was getting to a point with my production line where I was making my 2-piece bubblers out of one point or one section of tubing, making everything and shaping everything out and then ripping it apart and putting it together. And I had to learn the proportion side and the engineering side for the manufacturing process to make everything come out clean in the end so that my shit didn't look stupid when it was all said and done.
Yep.
So it's definitely for all the newbies, or even if you've been doing it for a while and you're like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? The proportions are huge.
Very, very huge. That throws so much shit fucking off camber.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. Yeah. And that's why I took a Joe P class, and it was like watching him working, and he would prep and shape all of his sections out first, and then would hold them up next to each other and made sure everything looked right, and before even assembling the thing. And if something was off a little bit, he'd throw it aside and make it again and make sure everything was on point. And you got to do that. You got to kind of pre make everything ahead of time, and then you throw it together. I mean, obviously not for everything you're doing, but if you're getting into more sculptural type stuff, you got to. Like you're saying, you want to do all your prep ahead of time. You want to make sure all your horns are not too big so that when they go on the can or wherever they're going to go, they're going to look right and they're going to fit and they're not going to be in the way of the carb or your joint or your torch. Like for instance with my dragons, I had to understand that because I wasn't really, I'm not even still to this day, I'm not really a dabber per se. But I had to think about if they're using a torch, that the wings were in the way of the fucking torch. They can't get in there to heat the nail up to use the thing properly.
Without fracturing the glass, yeah.
Yeah, so like all that stuff has to be taken into consideration, which helps to be a user to understand how things work, which is why I started to make sure I understood the properties of how things function properly. But that's a whole other story for another conversation. But that
is a huge conversation with me and a lot of different people. Whenever I do classes and I'm teaching people, I love doing one-on-one, hands-on classes with guys. And when I'm teaching people, I like to talk to them about the functionability versus aesthetically looking, pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, function comes first. Foremost, always. You always got to be thinking about the patient, man. Like, they're trying to get medicated. This is a medical device. They need something that works. I don't care how pretty it is or how sexy the wings are, or the flame coming out of the dragon's mouth or whatever, if it don't work, it's just art that sits on the shelf.
Yep.
So we have this discussion sometimes here in the shop too. We just had the discussion yesterday about that, so it was just kind of funny. You kind of bringing that up. Function's pretty important to me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, man. When I teach myself, I teach the shaping process first just to learn the medium, but like popping a hole, pushing a bowl, making a carb. If you have this ugly ass pipe, but all that shit is right and it functions good, it'll sell. If you got a gorgeous fucking pipe, the best thing you ever made, and your fucking bowl hole's too big or the carb's out of place, who's going to want to spend the money? And if they want to spend the money, they're not going to spend the money that it deserves to be spent on it.
Yep.
It's going to be a second, so but it's all trial and error.
Design.
Yeah.
It's all design. And a lot of people have done this all before us. I mean, we're basically biting, I guess, as some people want to say, but we're kind of we're using a style that's been there forever. Like nobody's really reinventing the spoon. You know what I mean? They're putting their own kick on things, which is good. That's what artists do. They put their own swing on things. People have been doing that forever. The music industry, there wouldn't be what it is today if people weren't mimicking and copying each other. People are still using people's background music in their mixes like they've been using for years.
Yep.
Like, it's always going to be that way. I mean, we all feed off of each other. And the sooner that people get back to people actually noticing that it's just, it's an inspiration type thing, and stop fighting about it, the more that we excel, that much faster in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. It kind of reminds me, recently I was watching this on Netflix. I think it's called American Genius, a new series they have out. And they were just talking about the Wright brothers, and it was all about aviation and the whole flight industry. And, the Wright brothers eventually they were given credit for being the first to flight, because the guy that actually did fly first did it in public before the Wright brothers actually did, because they didn't want anybody seeing them how their plane worked and whatever. But they eventually got the rights and the patent and everything for aviation based on their design of their plane, and they open sourced it, except for they didn't let this one dude, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, Hatcher or something, but this one guy was the only person in the industry that was not allowed to have access to their shit or even create his own stuff. And then World War I broke out, and then the Germans and everybody else in the world had experience with aviation eventually based on this other guy's work, and the government forced the Wright brothers to say, you guys are fucking causing us to be at a standstill and potentially lose this war because your planes are shit. We need to move forward and grow. So they forced them to open up their shit. And then this guy who was blocked became the largest aviation builder in the world, that then allowed our soldiers to have planes that actually could work and fly and be in war, and we were able to win the war in a sense. And it's amazing, man. That one small little selfish bastard that wants to have that roadblock can affect an entire nation like that. It's and our industry is the same way. It's like, it's been forever and ever. The glass industry for hundreds of years has been that way. So it's a whole new evolution and revolution in a sense too in our industry to see how much we're all sharing. I mean, Dale Chihuly has been ridiculed and criticized for years for him coming back from Venice and like spilling the fucking guts, They wanted to kill his ass because he came over here and taught us all Americans how to make Venetian-style glass. And then the Italians started coming in here themselves, the Lino Tagliapietri's and those guys, because they saw what was going on in here and how we were all about innovation and creation and moving and growing and sharing it as a movement. Yeah, totally, dude. Yeah. Now look at glass. I mean, fuck, man, everything we have is glass. It's
closed minds just build walls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well said.
You know what I mean? And it's just they need to refocus sometimes, man. I think sometimes we get a little bit caught up, and I don't know that it's so much the hatred or whatever, but I just think just with a closed mind, we don't really look at it like it should be looked at. We could be a movement, and we could be an entity to really be reckoned, but not if we're going to be closed-minded. We're just going to keep pushing each other away from each other and never even concentrate on the whole picture.
Yeah, and that's exactly, man. That's the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you look at internationally now with the movement, you got guys in Japan and Korea and spaces and other countries and Australia and the UK. I mean, fuck, the UK flame-offs this week going on or coming up here. Starts this weekend, I think. But
yep, I got glass back there.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? It's like it's so cool to see how things are just, and especially in the quote-unquote pipe industry, and how it's been this underground thing and looked down upon forever and ever and ever, and now it's like, it's cool to be a pipe maker.
Yeah, that's really weird. I'm really new to this whole glass movement. The people like yourself that have been in this industry for as long as you have, like I could only wish that I can take back, and could have started then, even if it was for a hobby, man, because like I've been meant to be a glass blower, I think, my whole life. Mm-hmm. And I might have missed out on some of that time, but it doesn't matter because I got the rest of my life to catch up. Yeah. But this is going to be my 6th year since I ever touched a torch here on June 6th this year. But I've been doing it for a living for 3 years now. Just in March, it was 3 years. March 30th, it was 3 years. I've been doing it full time for a living with no other source of income. And I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. Like, this is an amazing thing that everyone has started, that all you forefathers have started out in the beginning. Like, this is really an amazing thing. And man, I'm happy to be part of it. I really am.
Yeah, it's been an adventure, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, we're all going off of what you guys kind of set out there, and the way the world has changed, of course, with today's technology and everything else, and social medias, like everything has just kind of been thrown into this whirlwind of, hey, check it out. Hey, check it out. Look what I found. Look what I seen. And that's going on with everything from sharing posts of some music video to some guy taking a selfie up on the Eiffel Tower. I mean, there's just shit all over the place. And with that comes this glass blowing movement that we got going on right now. And to see some of these badasses, the Eugene Goins, the Buck, the Cowboy, the Robert Mickelson, these guys out there right now in today's industry that are doing what they do to help push that movement, that are team oriented, that are let's fucking do this together kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know what? I can only pray, just like you said earlier, that all of us and the people below me that are learning today or starting glass blowing today, buying their first torch, can continue that. They see that example out there for what it is, not just the money that people are making, because with that money comes blood, sweat, and tears like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of defeat, so most of those badasses have had more defeat than you've had attempts, and people need to think about that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Like when I do the Great American Teaching, my wife's an elementary teacher, and every year I go do the Great American Teaching for her, and I get to show a demonstration to every single fucking grade. So it's like I'm exhausted by the time the day's over with. But
oh yeah,
but I explained to him, it's like, if you can compare us to like a skateboarder, you don't see the cuts and bruises and broken bones and shit. All you do is see this cat pull this awesome, amazing 900 off. Now they're doing 1800s, or whatever, but you didn't see all the shit that went on beforehand. I mean, dude, if I could keep all the pictures that I've taken for myself just because I thought it was funny of all the blood I have had splattered across my studio, people would probably throw up and think it was disgusting. But I have spilt liters of blood over the years, just the way the nature of this beast is. I mean, fuck, it's just you have to. And you have to persevere. And I think, if a lot of these, I think it's what I find interesting is as I listen to a lot of podcasts in the business space and the online marketing and stuff, and listening to a lot of these guys out there that are their own groundbreaking, amazing entrepreneurs that are doing new things in the world of cyberspace in a sense. That's never been, they're taking full advantage of a new medium, like we have this quote unquote new medium in Boro with all these new colors and shit. But if they actually could see what we have done and what we go through, they can just do some programming or do some graphics or whatever and make shit amazing. They can just redo it. With us, I'll spend 10 hours on some shit, and if it fucking breaks, I just can't take that and just redo that thing. I got to start from fucking scratch. And I got to start from scratch with an open mind to understand that it may happen again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, I always say, like, if Leonardo da Vinci or any of those crazy asshole, painters back in the day, if they actually were glass blowers, they'd have been cutting off more than their fucking ears, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, most definitely.
I don't understand. No, they wouldn't be able to deal with it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been like, motherfuck, and then just closed my shop and gone home.
We have that here in the shop, I got 4 shop mates. And okay, let's do this. I'm 40-ish. my shop mates are 25, 24, 19. Okay, so it's a different era of glassblower. It's a different era of music. It's a different era of everything that I deal with these guys. One of which is an apprentice. So I have a 3-year, a 2-year glassblower, and I have an apprentice which is under Mitchell Salati for I believe 3 months now. And there's been several times that it's defeat, roll up tools, leaving. And to where I've talked, I'm like, hey, man, I really want to see you fucking succeed. And he's like, I'm trying, but I'm running into this problem or that problem. I'm like, hey, calm down, dude. Like, check it out. Yep. What I want to see you do, man, the next time you break some shit, just be like, you know what, man? It's time to go and fucking relax. Go and have a cigarette, whatever. Drink your go have some lunch, man. Like whatever, and come back and restart. Let's play that fucking cool jam on the radio. Let's get the good music fucking vibe flowing and bang out something else. Yep. Even if it's not going right into that, like bang out something that you do in your sleep. Do a fucking mushroom implosion marble real quick. Do something that's gonna slow you back down to an even kill. And then go back to hammering what you're going to and knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
don't leave. Don't quit, man. Don't, because you're only quitting on yourself.
Yep.
And you know what? Every day, every hour that you're not on your torch is another day or an hour that you're not branding yourself into where you want to be in this game right now. So,
Yeah.
don't sacrifice yourself, man. The glass is going to get sacrificed. That's what we do. I sacrificed glass last night. It really sucked. I mean, I had a $500 rig that went down last night, and it was bad. It sucked. But shit happens.
Yeah.
I made another one right after that.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
that's what we
exactly.
do.
Yeah, exactly. You have to.
Mhm.
It is some
Yeah.
stressful shit, man. Because I have this big Illuminati dragon I've been working on for probably about 3 months now, just here and there. And I finally finished it last night, and it felt so good to finish it. But man, that last little couple steps, that's like that sprint to the finish line. But man, that sprint, you got about 40 pounds of weight on your shoulders and your ankles, and someone's pulling you down at the same time. It's some stressful fucking shit. And once you get past it,
It is.
it's like the best orgasm you ever had. It's like, oh my
Oh,
god, it's fucking amazing.
opening the kiln the next day, just like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yep.
get the camera.
Exactly. And I think that being said, I think that's one of the cool things about what we do is when to be able to open up a kiln and take out something that you made out of some raw materials, and you're the first human hands to actually physically touch it. I think is
That's
a neat experience.
serenity right there.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is serenity. I love nothing more. I mean, it's just one of the best feelings going out and taking pictures in the sun out here on the farm, man, of things that I have created the day before, no matter what it was. It's just, and the expression like on my wife's face and my son's face, and he's only one, but he is so in love with glass, like everything. He looks at it like he is an old soul.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
tell you what, man, the kid's something else. But yeah, man, just undeniably just like a breathtaking experience every time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it is every time. Even if it's production, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I still respect every single piece that comes out of my kiln. And the frustrating part is when some other son bitch goes in there and pulls it out instead. You get not getting to it.
Oh boy, do I got a story about that. I probably shouldn't share it. Wait, but I'm going to. So check this out real
Uh-huh.
quick. I'll be short. We was taking a Yushin Goins class. One of the classes that I have taken. It was a Yushin Goins and Darby Holmes class. So amazing freaking class. Let me
Yeah,
tell you
but
what. We're on the second of a 3-day class. Okay, and they had already made. They're making a very big vessel rig, and they had one that they had already done that was just amazing, and it was just beautiful fucking work and colors and Filicello City. And anyway, we show up the next morning. I'm driving back and forth to Oakland or Berkeley every day for the deal. Me and a friend of mine, and rather than renting a hotel room, and we get there first thing in the morning. And, we got lunches packed and everything, like we're ready for the days. So we're in there and we're getting medicated and stuff, waiting for watching people roll into the class, and student comes in, another student, and they walk right over to this fucking kiln and open this kiln up and pull out this fucking big old rig, and they're Instagram picturing, fucking black lights out under the table. There's fucking 3, 4, 5 of them going to town taking pictures of this thing, and they're all, check this out. I'm like, get the fuck away from me, dog. And they're like, he's like, why? And I'm like, dude, I ain't gonna want to be nowhere near that thing when you guys break it. Like, fucking, that's Sheen and Darby's piece. That is not your guys's. I don't even believe you guys are in the fucking kiln right now. And they just looked at me and laughed like it was funny, because these are young kids,
mm-hmm.
man. And you know what? I'm not gonna punk on you. If you were in my shop, I totally would. I would school you right fucking now. But that's not my place, man. This is their shit, and they can school you how they so choose to, and I'm just waiting for fireworks,
Mm-hmm.
And here comes your first one in is Eugene. Eugene comes walking in. He's got his coffee, and he's one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I don't know if you've had the opportunity, but he's just an amazing guy.
Yeah,
And he comes walking in. He's got his coffee, and he stops. And he sees these guys under the table with the black light taking pictures of his rig. I mean, they're posting shit on Instagram already. He hasn't even seen this fucking thing. And he's all, hey, what's up, guys? And they're all like, hey, what's up? And they're all, check this out. And he goes, yeah, I haven't got to check that out yet. And they handed it to him, and that was it. Like, he looked at the rig and started getting stoked with them about different things and shit, and that was it. And me and my buddy Jack looked at each other and was like, man, those dudes got off so easy. But now they think it's cool to do that shit.
Yeah.
I go, that kind of sucks, because they never really got told. But for me, it's a respect thing. Even with my apprentice, like, I don't touch nothing in his kiln because I don't know what he did, what cracks he dealt with, what kind of beasts or whatever he had going on. And I don't want to be any kind of variable in anything that he had sentimental, attachments to of what he created. So when he hands that to me and says, check this out, that's when I'm looking at it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just because of what you said. So there's a funny little story of something that happened. It didn't go south or nothing. The dude that actually pulled it out of the kiln actually ended up driving like 3 hours to Santa Cruz and driving back 3 hours directly following the class and dumped $6,000 and bought that piece cash.
Sweet.
Which made it all a whole different thing.
Yeah. I'm surprised Darby didn't go off on his ass.
He did not show up. I don't even know if he knew it all happened.
Oh, damn. Huh.
Because Darby is a little more like me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, he would have flown off the fucking handle. Maybe even like said, fuck this class, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd ever go that far at all, but I would be like, hey, come here, guys. Now, I mean, this is a class, so I'm teaching you something else.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to teach you guys something called respect.
Yeah, lesson in humility. Now pull your pants down and bend over, you fuck.
Yeah, grab your guys'
you.
fucking notepads. I want you to write this shit down. Is that fucking camera on? Cool. All right, here we go. But again, it's back to learning, man. That's what we're doing. We're teaching learning. And here's the thing, man. If you teach people shortcuts, they are going to teach other people shortcuts that they made out of your shortcuts. Teach people the right way. Teach people the honest, hardest fucking way. And if they choose to make shortcuts, let them take that path. But until then, like, keep the knowledge true. Keep it all full,
Yep,
otherwise it gets watered down. And it's just killing the industry doing that.
Yeah, man, I agree. Like, my style of teaching is exactly that. Like, I'll take, okay, you make a hand pipe. There's like maybe 6 steps involved in making it. And I'll show you each individual step one by one. And then once you get those down, then I'll take the first 2 steps and we'll make those into 1 step. And then we'll take the other, and eventually it becomes maybe 2 or 3 steps. But you got to learn one at a time. It's that whole crawl before you walk cliche bullshit. But it's so true, man. Yep. You got to have that. It's just foundational knowledge you got to have. Because all those little steps that you're learning in this little thing here are going to carry over to the next thing. And if you have shortcuts here, those shortcuts may or may not work in the next area that you're getting into. And then what do you do,
Back to the fundamental.
Yeah, and that's why I say, man, like, there's a lot of amazing glass blowers / artists in our industry, but maybe 10% that actually are good teachers.
I hear that a lot from people. I haven't been fortunate enough to be taught by enough people to where I see that the same. But I hear people tell me that the way that I teach, the informative side is a lot different than most, in which I take it in a positive way. But I do hear that a lot from a lot of different people. With the Torch Talk Foundation, we have a lot of people that we're in I have a 24-hour room that's called the Tree of Life. And is what it is it's a Hangouts YouTube platform. And it's a 24/7 room that any glassblower can come into and hang out at any point in time. And it's where we share knowledge. We share the how and the why. So it's not just a vocal conversation. We're all in there blowing glass. Everyone's got their cameras on, their mics on. We can switch around on the screen and watch any glassblower you want to at the time. Like, I got a big flat screen on the wall here next to the studio bench, and I watch everything. I can see them all really big and detailed and stuff, in their HD cameras, and really help somebody, and with that platform, like, the guys can learn so much more, so much faster. It's a really unique thing that we have going right now with that group. That group has ups and downs. Trolling you talked about earlier and stuff. That you're gonna always have that shit. It's just a way of life that somehow is sometimes unavoidable. As far as at the source, you can get it afterwards, but it's always going to leak out there. But the guys that are in that group, I mean, it's undeniable what they're able to learn in that forum, 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
they just got to come and check in. That's it.
So how do they find this? Do they Google Tree of Life?
So we post up. We post up when we're going in there a lot. We have a link if they go to the Dawg House Glass appreciation page on Facebook. I have the link in there that I'm always going on, or they could message me, Bob Harley Dawg, a Dawg House Glass. They can message me on Facebook, and I can give them a link to go in there. It's not like up publicly everywhere to where it's just all, we don't want it to be so flooded that people are upset because there's no room, because there's a maximum occupancy of 10 individuals at a time, which kind of sucks. But there's nothing really out there that has, at this point in time anyway, that I've found that has this same platform uniqueness. Interaction wise, I mean, the Ustream we've messed around with a little bit, and the tiny chats, and it's all kind of it's just not the same, the experience that we get out of this. It really seems to work really well right now. So we make it to where people gotta kind of still come find us, but on the same note, like we want people to want to learn. We don't want them to just be just a click away from going and just kind of sitting around and hanging out, not really doing nothing, being a fly on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
We want some interaction. It's like in this glass world, if you're going to get anywhere, it's going to be with a little bit of work. And, this isn't that much work, not compared to what people used to have to do. People used to have to drive fucking halfway across the planet. People are coming from back east to go over to Arcadia or whatever to just be able to sit in a room near somebody and kind of see what was going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and honored to even have that opportunity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And today we can't even get people to go and click into a room and ask some questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Free.
Yeah.
So the platforms are amazing that are out there and available to people right now. Just Torch Talk alone, if people were clicking on that group, that is a very ever-growing group. I want to say it's around 5,000 members strong right now. What Will and Mike have done in there they've created a really, really unique platform for people to not only interact, with visual videos and/or pictures, but great communication, tutorials, just so many different connections inside that group. It's really, really unique. There's a lot of different groups that got on today on Facebook. There's only a handful of them that are really helping people, in my mind. And I don't want to disrespect anyone's group, but the color awareness group that Ryan Fitt and Gabe Halliday got, great group. Great group, tips and tricks, where people go and to get different tips and tricks on stuff, the glassifieds, where people got all the different glass and tools and stuff for sale. All the sales groups have kind of washed into just another sales group, but there's a handful of these groups that are out there right now to help forward this movement in this glass world, this lifestyle that we live. And the more people know about them, I mean, the better the groups would be.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man, when the Facebook page or the Torch Talk group came out, I was pumped. Like when they hit 1,000 members, I was like, man, this is fucking awesome. This is a great community. There's not a bunch of bullshitting going on here. Everybody cares about each other, and we're all about sharing knowledge. And it was an honor to have me on the show. When I was able to go on there and promote the podcast right before I launched it, and it was cool just to be on the live stream to talking to however many people were watching it. It was pretty badass, and it's amazing the last year to be at 5,000 now. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they've come so far, and the group's going to be, at one point in time in the near future, they hope to have this on a different platform to where it's kind of pulled away from Facebook. They have a little bit more control of everything, and then they'll have probably maybe a little bit more pull away from the trolling problems and stuff of that nature. I don't see the group going anywhere, but another platform for the video side of it, for the week-to-week Tuesday Torch Talks. Yeah. Every Tuesday of every month, of every week, I'm sorry, they have a Torch Talk live demos from different artists from all over the place. Just like in that group, we have people checking in from Australia, Amsterdam, Wales. We've got them all over the United States. Alaska, Canada. We got people in there that are blowing glass with us from all over the planet. And it is simply amazing. You're in there and you're hearing accents that you just aren't used to hearing. And it's not just somebody else that's over here. You're talking to somebody that's 16 hours away, in Australia. And just you're sitting there blowing glass with them. We have dubbed this as we're all apprentices of each other when we're in that room. We're all in the same studio because it's like we're all working in the same studio.
Yeah.
It is really cool.
Yeah, it's a big
really,
virtual,
really cool environment.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's a big virtual studio. It's pretty sweet. And that's the fun part, too, with the way this glass movement's gone. Like, with my show, for instance, I can see where it's being listened to. And it's all over the fucking world. Like, they have a geographical map. I can see who's listening to what. And I say it all the time, but Korea right now is the third largest downloaded country of the show.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. That is pretty wild.
Yeah. So and it's a blessing. It's humbling for me, and just continues to motivate me to continue to do this. Like my wife the other day, she's like, "So how long we can do the podcast for, or whatever?" And I'm like, well, as far as I'm aware, I'll be doing this forever. Because we covered a lot of topics. We covered topics that are like that would, if someone was able to like take all these areas that we talked about and really focus on themselves and how they can better themselves, and anywhere from marketing to the business to the glass artist to foundational type shit, to leaving a legacy. You know, like, I guess to summarize, what your perspective, if you wanted to give us like the daddy perspective in a sense for talking to the son here, of what you think would be a good way to steps to take, I guess, in a sense, to get to that point if you're not there yet.
Got you to actually get on the road to that path.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I would say, like, for anybody that's new and embarking on this new path, you know, that we're all been on for a little bit of a minute now, harness patience. You know, your skill will follow with hard work and dedication, but make your own path. You know, you need to free your mind and be open to constructive criticism. You're going to get attacked by people with constructive criticism. Some of them with maybe some sort of deceit or hatred of sort, but for the most part, people are just trying to better you as a person, as a glassblower. So be open-minded. Be ready for that stuff to come, but be open-minded to accept it. Take what you need and toss away what you don't, and better yourself in some way, shape, or form. Always take it as a way of somebody trying to better you. And you're definitely gonna get a little bit further, in my mind. Your business sense, very huge. Aspects of like marketing and branding yourself. Get you a strong name, stick to it. Make sure it's in everyone's mouth. You know, make it a household name. Put the face to the place. You know, lead by example with people. Always show them that you're out there. Show them you're human. You know, show them some of your family life, not just your glass. You know, I mean, show them that you're an actual person. You know, maybe don't bury yourself out publicly in all the politics or religion or the world bullshit, you know, that's going on right now. But this is a glass industry. People are trying to buy glass art from you. They're wanting your creativity. They're wanting your amazingness that comes out of your hands and out of your torch. So try to focus on that. Try to keep everything a lot more like Switzerland. Be neutral. Don't be picking sides all the time. That's just going to get you into a world of, you know, blocking and hatred and negative comments and trolling and just shit you don't even want to be part of. You want to be out there to where people see your art, they pay for said art, or they compliment and share said art. You do nothing but prosper from it. Stick to what you believe in, you know, basically overall. And just go with the flow, you know, go with the flow of what you're trying to do. If you stay positive and stay on that positive track for your glass industry, and you keep a good positive mind and always think outside the box, like, you're going to make it.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to make it, in my mind. It's the people that can't or always settle with, oh, you know what, that's okay. That'll work. That's good enough. If you get that out of your vocabulary and get back to, that's the shit, that's tits, damn she fine. Oh, yeah. Now you're talking.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah, dude.
That's where you need to be in life.
Yeah, and, I agree.
Just stay focused.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, that's awesome. I couldn't have said it better myself. So that was a good summary, and after now, we will take a quick break to thank our sponsors, and then it'll be time for us to crash the kiln. We'll be right back. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by The Flow magazine. Since its inception, the focus of The Flow has been to provide a bond among members of the lampworking community. In every issue, you can enjoy great content with the hottest artists and cutting-edge techniques using the latest industry products. These features, along with a continuation of our Women in Glass edition, Glasscraft Emerging Artist Awards, inspiring gallery showcases, dynamic general interest articles, as well as health and safety information, make The Flow the leading international lampworking journal. For more information or to subscribe to The Flow, go to theflowmagazine.com. That's theflowmagazine.com. All right, man, we are officially back. It's time for us to crash the kiln, and I like to call it crash the kiln round because we have all at one time or other crashed the kiln and probably brought the pieces even still hot to the shop we were selling them to. So let's be our lightning fast, quick round here. It contains 6 questions, and they if you can give me a 30 to 60 second answer, and you can also expound upon them as well as they always do. And if you're ready, man, I'm ready when you are.
Let's rock and roll.
All right, cool. So the first one I always like to ask, which is always a difficult question, but I still like to ask it, is if you could work with any living glass artist that you haven't worked with before, who is it and why?
Living glass artist. You know, to be honest, it'd be one of probably 2 people. And it would be either Cowboy or it would be Ryan Fitt. Both of the 2 individuals are really, really good leading examples in the community, I believe, today. They have really good business sense. They got really good forefront. They got really good presentation. They really bring uplifting and record-breaking, changing glass to the game all the time. They're changing the game. They're raising the bar. They're making everybody that's coming into this world look at it and go, wow, how they do it. I want to learn. Where do I start? The guys are just really good. You meet them, and they're some of the most down-to-earth, straight-up people that you'll ever meet in your life, and it'll make you want to meet every glassblower that ever started glassblowing.
Hell yeah.
So those would be probably the 2, I have to say. I know you said 1.
Yeah,
but
man.
those would be the 2 people that I would really love to work with.
Hell yeah. And actually, I said any, so any could be more than 1.
Oh, then I'm in.
Hell yeah. If you could describe the sound of glass cracking in 1 word, what is it?
Tink.
Perfect. Yes, sir. Same inflection and everything. It has that same inflection. I love it. So what are your top 5 favorite colors in glass?
Ooh, favorite colors in glass. Well, I like Acid Trip. I like Serendipity. I love Blue Cheese. The Paramore Peach is fire. Oh, and lately, Deppy's Darkness is pretty sexy.
Yeah, it sure is. But yeah, man, when that peach first came out, I saw Ben Burton, one of his flamingos he did, and I was like, what the fuck color is that? That shit is dope. And then I started seeing it, and then we got some at work, and I started making some stuff with it, and I loved it. It's a weird color, man. It's one of those transparent colors that is stiff as fuck, and you don't really understand the stiffness of it until you actually work the glass. But I love that stuff.
It is like butter. I mean, no matter what application I've used it in so far, it is just straight up like butter. It's like working like white.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's just so nice. It's so malleable. I've used it strafing it on tube. I've used it coil potted. I've used it in solid core sculpting work, and it's nice. I like it.
Hell yeah. So in the studio, what is your worst injury? I know outside the studio is your worst injury, but
yeah, outside was definitely my leg. But inside the studio, the worst injury that I had was I used to not flame polish all of my blow tubes. I learned later, taking a class with Phil Siegel, that he flame polished all his blow tubes, and I still didn't after doing that until shortly. When anyone that's ever snapped glass, score and snap glass, I was scoring and snapping blow tubes and getting some prepped. And one of the blow tubes had a crazy little micro shard, probably about a 1/2 inch long on it, like super, super tiny. Well, I had blow tubed up to something, and I went back to put it up to my lips to puff into it, and as everyone knows what's coming, I not only stabbed myself in the lip with that shard, but when I jerked, I snapped it off in my lip. And I dealt with that for over a year. I could not get all the glass out of my lip, and from that day forward, I mean, it was gnarly. I was bleeding all over the place. The apprentice was just like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Man, I just cut myself like on a blow tube," and and then started crunching glass, basically around in my lip, and finding out that there was way more of a problem there. So every now and then I'll have a little bit of glass come to the surface
Yeah,
of
weird,
my
right?
fucking lip. Yeah, so that was probably one of my gnarliest glass blowing industries, and injuries. And what I learned from it is flame polish your blow tubes. It only takes a second.
I am going to start doing that tonight. After
I hate
17 years, man, I am not going to have sharp blowpipes anymore. But see, my problem with that is I would do it. I'd polish them, but then I would immediately put it in my mouth and start blowing air into it. And that sound it goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's always
Well,
fun.
check it out. Whenever you score and break up like what I do, I take a 4-foot, the 4-foot blow tubes, they come in the box, right?
Yep.
I take and balance that up on my hand to where I get equal equilibrium as far as balancing and get the center of that stick. I score and break that. I do the exact same thing with the 2 sticks that I just got left over to where I have 4 sticks of equal size. 2 of those sticks are already going to have flame polished in, so you only got to flame polish the other 2.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah.
And while you're waiting for those to cool, you can use one of those cool ones in your mouth.
Well, yes. It's also if you're buying something like Cymax or Pyrex and Kymax, they have the polished ends.
Yes. I here in the shop, I use Shot, and I use US 33. We're slowly making the change over to US 33. We're giving it all the tests right now, and so far, so good. So most likely we'll be making the change.
Yeah, good little plug for them. Yeah, one thing I like about it, and I keep seeing everybody else talking about it, is how well it fumes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a good write-up from Freddie Farron on the fuming of that clear, saying it was really, really unique. He had a lot of really good results. So I'm not a huge fumer, but that is important with that glass. Mm-hmm. I like the clarity and everything else, being able to work it, being able to go into the flame with it and everything. Good, clean, not any kind of inclusion type, seeded, bubbles, streaking, any of that sort. They have a higher, well, in my opinion, they have a little bit higher quality glass at this point in time that I'm seeing than the artistic, which is the Shot, and it is at a lower price. So it's a little bit closer to their scientific grade glass at a lower price than the Boro Artistic. So nice. It's really a win-win.
Heck yeah. It's good to know. Mm-hmm. All right. So in the studio, do you watch TV, listen to the radio, or do you do both?
We listen to a lot of radio in here. We have 4 different resident artists, and we have pretty much 4 different radio tastes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I can listen to anything and everything. One of my other shopmates is pretty close to that, and then the other 2 shopmates are completely not. Like if we play Tech 9, they're gonna take lunch. It's like that. And to where me, it's like, if it's not like Led Zeppelin or, something like that, you know what I'm saying? I can listen to that stuff too. I just don't want to listen to the same thing all day. I like to keep it moving. So I let the people, hey, change the radio whenever you want. Like I'm cool to get in a couple songs just to get that groove going. And as long as I can't listen to like Frank Sinatra all day. Yeah. You can give me a couple hours.
Exactly. Hell yeah.
Yeah, radio for sure. Cool. Not a whole bunch of radio and podcasting, I got the headphones on. Yeah. So I do a lot of that because we're usually on the live feed, like I was saying earlier, in the Torch Talk and the Tree of Life. So every day I'm in that room blowing glass live. So I typically got my headphones on, and I will, with the wireless headphones, I'll chime into some podcasts that'll have as background that I'm only able to hear, while I'm also talking and blowing glass with everyone else in the room.
Killer.
Yeah.
So last and final question, which is always a fun one. If you were stranded on an island and they had a glass studio on there that supplied your torch, your kiln, and all your gases, and you had to make something, what 5 items would you bring?
And I had to make something?
Yeah.
So you're saying I don't have no tools or nothing?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Shit. I would probably bring a lathe and make my tools. That way I didn't have to waste up all my choices on tools.
Hell yeah.
I could just make tools from all the materials that I have on my island.
Exactly.
And then I'd probably just want to bring like my wife, my son, a hammock, and maybe a set of really nice tweezer jacks.
There's one thing that you need that's crucial.
One thing that I need that's crucial.
Yeah, that you forgot.
Uh-oh.
Your glasses.
Oh, my glasses. Oh, you said I had a full shop.
No, there's not a full shop. You got your kiln.
Oh, just a studio, kiln,
Yep.
torch. Yeah. You know, I'd probably would need some trusty didiniums.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Shade 3, preferably.
Yes. Yeah, some of the guys that have like binged the show before they come on, they hear that and they're like, that's the first thing they say is like, I've heard this before, so I know my glasses. Because like, Steve, it took me up to getting up to Steve's size level. I believe he was the first person to say glasses. And he was like episode like 13 or something like that. It was pretty funny. But I think it's because we're also used to wearing them all the damn time. It's just one of those things. Like I've always got sunglasses on, whether it's my didiniums or my fucking sunglasses.
At the grocery store, I get caught with them.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
people are like, "Oh, those are cool blue lens glasses." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, these aren't for outside." My bad. What's worse is when you get caught with the blow hose and you look like some heroin addict or some weird shit. And you're just like walking up and just start scratching your face like, "Hey, man, can you spare some change?" You know? Because you see them already staring at you, you know? Like,
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
that hose? You're like, never mind.
That's so funny. It's my catheter. Leave me alone.
You are not going to believe it. I got a camel pack somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You know, one of the things I would say too with advice-wise is that if you do have a blow hose, make sure that you don't bring it into your bathroom to take a piss. Because I literally pissed on mine one day. It's not good.
Yeah, me too. I am probably buy a new blow hose every month.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to like soak it in bleach water or do any of that like weird stuff. They're really cheap, so I just buy a new one. And I had the guy that I buy them from, which is Fire Kissed. I think everybody uses them. He's like, "Hey man, is there something wrong with these hoses?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Because you buy like 2 a month." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, because we just throw them away." He goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, I keep my swivel and shit, you know what I mean? But I just need the hose, like, because it gets all germed up and stuff, and, you know, like all full of all the bacteria and spit and all that stuff." And I'm like, "That's moist sitting in there." I go, "It's just going to turn into something that gets me sick." And I go, "So I just throw it away and get another one. I mean, it's $12." And he's like, "Bro, let me tell you where I get this material from." And he like hella hooked me up on the side note. He's like, "Because you've been spending so much money on these blow hoses." And he felt so bad. And he just gave me the lowdown. I was like, "Man, right on, dude. You're the man." Yeah. So I was able to kind of get hooked up that way. So yeah, every 3 weeks or so, like I'll chuck my blow hose in the trash and just cut me a new length and keep on chucking.
How long about estimated wise do you think your blow hose is?
Oh, I can tell you right now. I'm actually right here. So let's go like this. My blow hose is 6 feet.
Okay.
Is what I run, a 6-foot blow hose, and that gives me enough length to. I run some long blow tubes too, compared to some people because of the fact that I cut them down like I described earlier. Yeah. And I got tubes set up with a bunch of my prep blow tubes, 16 mil, 19 mil, 12 mil, 9 mil, as well as all my size rod. That way it's all right here at my fingertips. Excuse me. And that being said, I'll kind of pull out and start with that longer length, and I chew it down, you know, as I go, reusing those blow tubes until, you know, I can't use them any longer. So I start off with a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah, yeah.
So that added hose length helps.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I do the same exact thing myself. Definitely saves from having a shit ton of little nubs of 9 or 10 mils laying around.
Exactly, and which I do. I bought a huge old school filing cabinet, index card cabinet, really big, long, deep drawers, and I fill it specifically with scrap glass. So all the short blow tubes, all the short rods and all that get put in there. All my drawers get filled up within a month, and I pack all these large flat rate boxes full of all the scrap glass, and I give it away to torch talk guys. Nice. They just got to pay for the shipping, and I shoot it to them with some sticks and stuff, and yeah, just kind of regenerate it, because my trash, is like huge. Just people ain't got the money. I'm buying cases of glass, so these nubs are nothing to me. They just take up space, and I need them out of here.
Yeah, too, man. Like, one of the first things I teach when I bring an apprentice on is taking all my scraps and putting them together and making them fucking centered and straight and square.
Yep, connections.
Yeah, man, it's such a good lesson to learn just from the very beginning. So definitely, you get some free shit and you learn a lesson while you're at it. Damn.
Yeah, kind of like points versus blow tubes.
Yep.
I'm kind of more of a blow tube guy, just because you're practicing your connections over and over and over and over with every single blow tube. It's a good habit.
Yeah, for sure. I'm more of a point guy myself. I do both, really, but I start off usually with a point.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just old school habits, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's a stronger handle because there's no connection.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, what, for me, I like the process, but it's also a good warm up for me when I get started. Mm-hmm. And then it's also good for consistency if I'm doing some production stuff. But it's a great lesson for people to learn, just because it teaches you the medium, how to get it right temperature, how to pull it when you need to pull it, how to wait, how to be patient, how to keep it on center, how to spin your glass, and when there's a lot of things involved in it. So definitely,
I agree with you.
Definitely
wholeheartedly.
Recommend it. Yeah, fuck yeah. So all right, man. So before we wrap this up, if you want to give us, I know you gave us a really big summary at the end of there, but if you want to just give us like a little quick parting piece of advice, and then after that, if you want to tell us where we can find you out there in the world of cyberspace.
Yeah, I tell all you guys, if you guys are learning this trade right now, get involved in all your social medias. Go check out some of the names that we said earlier. If you got color questions and stuff, refer to the palettes of the people that you got the color from, or check in with glass color groups and stuff that they got. Glass Color Awareness is a great group to check out. Going to Torch Talk, going back on all these videos from Dustin Revere and Torch Talk videos. They're some of the most informative videos that are out there right now. I'm not knocking on anybody else's videos. It's just that they have them in wealth. And just there's many. There's not just one or two kick-ass videos. There's tons of them. Go and look at these videos. Study these videos. When you watch a video, go and try it. Don't just log it. Do it. Put the how to the why. It's gotta be the package deal, and just really set it in place in your head. You're going to be able to come back to it a lot more frequently later, pull it out of the Rolodex and actually do it at the torch. Just focus your energies on learning and growing as an individual, and being a good example of those guys around you. We talked about that earlier. We're watering down the industry. Let's make it more fruitful. Let's help the fellow brother. Let's pick him up a little bit. You don't always got to give him the farm, but give him enough to where he can survive off of it, to where he doesn't have to come back to you and, ask for food all the time. Teach him how to fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be better people.
Hell yeah.
Finding me, it's pretty easy. I'm a big guy. I stand out in crowds, But Dawg House Glass, everything, that's how I am. DHG for life. I say that because all my glass, you buy it from me, I guarantee it for the rest of your life for free. You don't got to pay for it again. You paid for it once, I'll fix it as many times as you break it. As much as I can. If I can't, well, that's the day that we both take our hat off. But you can always find me under that hashtag DHG for life. You can find me on Facebook under Bob Harley Dawg, DAW to the G. That is me. You can also find me just about anywhere under Dawg House Glass, DAWG. I'm on Instagram, dawghouseglass.com. I have a little one-page site that basically just refers back to the Facebook pages and stuff like that, but definitely in a lot of the groups and stuff in the social media. You can also get a hold of me, dawghouseglass at hotmail.com or at gmail.com. I got old school and new school. I ain't partial. But I'm definitely here always to answer your questions. Don't do too crazy of custom work. I like to flow and let the art kind of take its place with me. I'm definitely doing different things, but don't hesitate to ever hit me up with any kind of questions, whether it's about you advancing as a glass blower and tips and tricks, or some glass that you're trying to purchase. I'm definitely here for all facets of the questions. Hell yeah, dude. It's been an honor having you on, dude. It's been fun. Oh, pleasure is all mine. Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day and coming and sharing some glass knowledge with us and giving us the love and showing us what it's all about, man, because it's, I guess it really doesn't get any better than this when it comes down to it. So, if you guys got a shitty attitude, fucking change your attitude. Live your life like this motherfucker right here does, because he has his shit together.
Business and glass. It's good shit, man. It's how it's got to be. I mean, we could be glass artists all day long, but if you want to make a living and feed your family, you got to figure the other side of that shit out. Like yesterday. So, until next time, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show featuring Bob Harley Dawg, and that is his real name. Just so you guys know, it ain't no glass blowing nickname. That's his real fucking name. So, it's been a blast. See you guys next time. Take it easy. Peace. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or remarks, please leave them in the show notes page area where it says comments. We'll see you soon. Have a wise night.
You're listening to the Wise Guy Radio Show.